Here's the variator itself with the rollers inside. If you notice that all of them have the brass side facing clockwise. Here's the vinyl side and the brass is facing clockwise. With these particular rollers in this setup, you have to have the brass facing the same way, counterclockwise. All of them are the same. You will note that I have one bad roller. I do believe this is it. Yep, here it is. If you look closely, you can see score marks right around the edges. I can feel a couple of rough spots, and there seems to be a flat spot right about here. I'm going to replace these rollers, even though if the other ones are the same, you still need to replace the whole set. Don't just replace one, replace all of them. We're going to put in Dr. Polly's right here. They are 20 by 15, 16 grams, and one thing to be certain of is that these go in the opposite direction. If you note on these, the brass fitting itself on this side will be facing clockwise. I'm going to show you how to put these in after we dump these out. Just flip them upside down, dump them out, they're dead. These rollers have to be placed in a very specific location. They're going to be put this way, just like that. If you pull one out and you note, you can't see it on the video, but it does say Dr. Polly right on the top side. If you see Dr. Polly going in this direction where my thumb is going, then it is placed correctly. This is the variator with all of the rollers put in. Actually, in this case, sliders. If you note the very flat top on the top, then there's another sliding space, and it goes down to the bottom also. Pull one out, the very longest edge, that's this edge right here, is the edge that has to go straight up to there. Quite simple. All you have to do is just remember to make sure that the words Dr. Polly face right here. Now that we have all of the sliders installed correctly, we're going to put in the boss pin. Make sure we put on the ramp plate, get it correctly put in, and we're going to temporarily put this on the variator assembly. We are not going to put everything together quite yet because we still do need to put the belt on. Okay, now here's part of the tricky part. While we still have the same old belt in the same clutch assembly, we're going to take the new belt and put it on the back side. Try to put it down as far as you can. Hold it. Remove the old belt. Put the clutch assembly back down, and we're ready to put it in very shortly. Okay, now we have the clutch and the new belt assembly. We slide back on to the shaft. Sorry. Make sure you hold on to the clutch. With the clutch pulley and belt fully in place, take our variator face, now we're ready to install the washers and get it tightened up. Now we're going to put on the locking washers, which is the castle washer, regular washer, and the final nut. On the clutch end, we need to put it back on the clutch bell. Make sure you line it into the splines, the washer, and the nut. Okay, now we have the variator tool holding in reverse. Instead of removing, we have it for tension for holding. I'm going to give this a couple of quick bursts. That should be tight. At the setting that my torque gun is set, that should be exactly what it is. The reverse motion of the engine will keep it tight. However, I am going to check it tomorrow when I do drive to work and see with the torque wrench itself, make sure I'm within the specs. And as I did with removing the nut from the clutch bell, I put the scooter back on its side stand so the tire stays nice and secure, and I'll take the impact gun and I will give it a couple blasts. That's the same torque settings that I put on the variator front nut. Again, I'm going to check both of them when I get to work tomorrow, but this should be within specs according to what my gun actually puts out. Well, that's it. We're good to go. All we have to do is put on the CVT casing and take it for a ride. Once again, remember to put the long CVT bolt in this hole and make sure that the brake housing, the actual clamp that holds the back rear cable for the brake, goes on the outside of the CVT case. Slacking low for this not helping.